our guests.
Oh.
At least, I think it's even a partial list. Just the first name I see that I'm excited about.
Tell me.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh.
Because I'm going to tell him he should be the #1 pick of the draft.
Yes, I know you're going to tell him that.
And the name that I think you're going to be most excited about is not Christian McCaffrey, even though you like him a lot. Not even friend of the show, Alvin Kamara.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld.
No.
Are they all sports people?
Gardner Minshew is going to be on the show.
My guy Gardner.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
No one is more up Jenna's alley than Gardner Minshew. We'll tell him that as well. It'll be a wonderful time. And after the shows, this is something Chris Canny taught me with the radio remotes, is I'm going to spend a good deal of time. I don't have a big window because I do have to get to the casino. But after the shows, for at least 30 minutes to an hour, I'll hang out and talk to the people that stop by.
I'll do it with you.
That's something I went to one of Canny's in ESPN New York radio remotes, and he's out there hanging out, glad-handing and letting people try on the Super Bowl ring, which I guess he can do because you're not really going to steal from this man, so you can let him do it. So, yeah, we'll do that. You said you're going to do it with me?
Yeah, why not?
Let's alternate.
Let's not say we did.
Okay,
let's just sit there together for hours and hours and wax poetic
I'm
about
excited
anything
to go down
you guys want to talk about. It's going to be so much fun.
Okay.
Time for us to go viral. So yesterday, a group of teenagers at the YMCA in Harlem got the surprise of a lifetime. When who stopped by? LeBron James walked right through the door. The King was there to announce a special program giving the kids free access to bicycles for a year. Here was LeBron's message to the group.
Like I said, I truly appreciate you guys. Love you guys, man. And I hope you guys continue to be great. Continue to be great role models. Continue to be great citizens in the community. If you got any siblings, continue to be role models to them, to your best friends, to your parents, all of them. Because people are looking up to y'all. You know, you guys look up to me, but I look up to y'all for inspiration. And make sure the people around y'all know that they're looking up to y'all for inspiration as well. So don't stop. Nobody can stop me. All right? So thank you.
Really cool.
So dope.
Really nice.
And listen, I know since LeBron can't even help open a school without being criticized for it, people are going to point out, well, you know, he's not really paying the full freight. Okay, for those kids, it was one of the coolest things ever. That's the YMCA in my neighborhood. My son goes there. That is, and LeBron continuing to put his name and brand and money where his mouth is, as far as kids who maybe don't have as many opportunities doing effective things to give them better opportunities, whether it's what he provides for the kids that go to a school in Akron or the things like this. Like, those kids will use that a hell of a lot more than if he gave them all pair of sneakers, which would have been super cool too. But the bikes, it's such a cool thing he's doing.
No, it's really awesome that LeBron recognizes the platform that he has, being the best basketball player in the world, and that he uses that in a positive way. A lot of people have poured into him to help him get to where he's at, and now he's paying it forward. And it's really cool when athletes have that level of awareness, and then they actually are proactive about engaging the community and making sure they give something substantive back.
And if nothing else, all the kids in that room have a story for the rest of their lives.
And one other note, this is the only time the Lakers are in New York City this year. They're here for 4 days. 2 of those nights they play games. LeBron's got a billion business opportunities, potential meetings, people that want to sit with him. And he's taken the time to go to Harlem, to go to the YMCA. It's such a cool thing.
Nice.
That is not surprising at all from him, but a really cool thing that he did.
Good stuff. Nick approves, LeBron. Highest paid player in the NFL.
I thought you were going to say on their team, and I was like, well, DeMarcus Lawrence makes a lot, but probably. In
Realistically,
the NFL,
you know that's the conversation that's going to be had.
No, they don't have to. You mentioned that this was the conversation, you know, almost a year ago. I will look into the cameras. I did 9 months ago, and I will say it again. And I have no loyalty to the Dallas Cowboys. I like a bunch of the retired Dallas Cowboys. I like Troy. I like a lot of the guys we work with. But the current team, they're one of 32. Dallas, you do not have to do this. No matter what the media narrative is, you actually still hold the cards. Dak has made no long-term money in his career. People say, oh, he makes all this money in endorsements. He does not make the type of money in endorsements that can come close to what the NFL contract offer is going to be. The generational, I could do anything I wanted and still, as long as I don't, you know, try to start an airline or something crazy, I can still, you know, die with a bunch of money left over. That generations that I will never meet will be spending my money. You can do that for Dak without making him one of the 3 highest paid players in the league. And if he says no to that, If he says, even though I'm the 11th best quarterback in football, I should be the highest or second highest paid quarterback in football, then test his water again. He played this whole year under the specter of injury with no guaranteed money. See if he wants to run that back a second time with the only guaranteed money being a franchise tag. To me, I would put him to the test, Canty. Now, I hate the franchise tag on principle, but it's there. As long as it's there, this is what it's there for. I think they will be making a massive, grievous error if he starts making Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers money, much less Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson money, who are the next two guys up as well.
Well, the problem you run into if you tag him is you run out of cap space and you're trying to sign Amari Cooper and you hope you don't lose Byron Jones in free agency. If you put the franchise tag on him and he doesn't sign it, well, who's going to be your quarterback going into the 2020 season? So I think Dak does have a degree of leverage as far as these negotiations go. But what makes it interesting is the Dallas Cowboys knew that the longer that they waited, it was going to cost them more money. When you got Carson Wentz's deal done, when you got Jared Goff's deal done, you know Dak Prescott is looking at those same guys because they're in his draft class. And, oh, by the way, those guys were first-round draft picks, so they had a lot more financial security coming into the NFL than he did. So when you look at what he's done based on where he was drafted, clearly he had outperformed his contract. And so to me, if Dallas recognized that he was going to be their quarterback for the foreseeable future, they should have got this deal done sooner rather than later. And now, as a result of waiting, it's going to cost you a lot more money.
Did Dak become more valuable after the season he had, or are you at the same place?
Well,
because he played well, but the team, obviously.
The argument for Dak before this year was even if the numbers aren't great, he wins. And the argument this year was, even though they didn't win, his numbers were great. So to me, it's about a push. Like, okay. He didn't lose ground, but I don't think he gained a ton of ground. And just one other thing for the Dak fans out there, the people that want Dak to, that want the Cowboys to pay Dak this type of money. I am not arguing that Dak Prescott is a bad quarterback. But you can say, oh, what are you going to do if you don't have a quarterback? If you tell me you've got to have a car, and you say, listen, hey, I got one. I got a brand new Acura. I'm like, oh, that's a pretty good car. That's awesome. And then you tell me you paid $175,000 for it, then I'm going to say, well, that was a terrible decision. You'd be better off walking. And so that's the position that you are in. You cannot pay, as Chris Canty knows, Bentley prices for a nice mid-sized luxury sedan.
You have a sedan?
No, he's got a Bentley. and so you can't do that. And if you do, you are going to regret it at some point.
It's a great analogy.
Even if to your point, they can screw with the cap this year to where it's a cheap cost this year, that bill eventually becomes due. So I would just caution you against it.
Great analogy. Let's move on to Tom Brady, who probably has a couple
I got
of
no problem.
For the first time in his historic career, Tom Brady will have a football decision to make. Should I stay or should I go? While there are many signs pointing to Brady going, Patriots owner Robert Kraft said yesterday, quote, we plan to keep Brady in New England. And on the gram, a fan carved some poignant words into that New England snow. Stay, Tom, it read, to which Brady replied, love you all. All right, Kenny, where do you think Brady should play next season?
I think he should run it back with New England.
With the Patriots.
I look at the other organizations where there is a quarterback vacancy, and I just don't see Tom Brady trusting the twilight of his career to those individuals that are in charge there. So to me, it makes sense if you want to compete at a high level, and I'm assuming that at this stage, all Tom Brady wants to do is compete for championships, then it would make sense to stay with arguably the greatest coach the game has ever seen and one of the best organizations in the National Football League. So I just feel like right now, I know that Tom Brady is excited about free agency, and you heard his words. He wants to be open-minded about it, and he's going to embrace whatever comes with open arms. I think that's just Tom Brady playing the game with the New England Patriots, recognizing that he wants to be paid like a quarterback that has won them 6 championships. He wants to feel the respect from the only organization that he's ever known. And it's been a while since the Patriots have paid him top of the market prices. I think this is what Tom Brady is looking for right now before he walks away from the game.
If Tom Brady was not already a Patriot, if he were a pending free agent, would we look at the Patriots as the best fit? Would you look, if the Patriots had the year they had this year with Phillip Rivers or someone who's just retired at quarterback and Brady was available, would you look at that team and say, that's where he should go? On the positive side of the ledger, greatest coach ever, really good defense. On the negative side of the ledger, all of a sudden, questionable offensive line, not a ton of weapons, maybe not enough help, as I've been told. that would not be the ideal place, really cold climate, by the way, as well, for a 43-year-old quarterback. The reason people are, of course, tying Tom Brady to the Patriots is because he's always been tied to the Patriots. But if you were to look at this, if you'd never seen him play and you looked at the openings, to me, the Chargers and sneakily all of a sudden, even though I don't know if his wife would sign off on it, the Titans present better options. Both those teams have a better #1 receiver than the New England Patriots do. I think A.J. Brown's going to be a star. I think he's going to be extraordinary. Maybe one day Corey Davis gets it together. I'm not sure about that, but he's a former top 10 pick. That's in Tennessee. And the Chargers, obviously, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, maybe the best duo in football. The Chargers, what they also have is the need at the position to go along with the need for the franchise, and it's a place where I'm sure Brady loves spending time because he owns a house there. What the Titans have, while they don't have the geography help, they already have a Patriot-ish system installed because Mike Vrabel's there. Someone Brady's close with, someone Brady knows, someone Brady won championships with. Those two places, to me, if Brady is still an above-average NFL quarterback, those two places give him a better chance to prove that, to show that, than the New England Patriots. I've been saying for 3 months, Jenna, the Chargers make the most sense. If Giselle's opinion on it is, I'll go wherever you want, then you have to include the Titans on this as well. But I think the Chargers are the one that makes the most sense for every possible reason.
I think what some people say is can you balance out, and you tell me this, you're a football player, all the work that has to be done to learn a new system, to go to a new place, to learn new receivers, new coaching styles, new everything, the new food, the new parking spots, all of that up with maybe you would need a little bit more, and maybe the Patriots wouldn't be the ideal spot. But you already know all of that. It's already in place. You don't have to start from scratch. Do those two things balance out?
Well, I think whatever team would want to bring Tom Brady in, they would change their system for Tom Brady, not the other way around. I don't think it would be Tom Brady adapting to an offense that's already in place. They're just going to run whatever offense that he's been comfortable with under Josh McDaniels for the majority of his career. So I think that's probably what the proposition would be. But, I mean, in looking at the places that Nick outlined, I do understand why you would point to those organizations, because they feel like they're a quarterback away. But, I mean, you look at the offensive lines for both of those teams. Have you seen them pass block?
Sure, that's fair.
They're terrible.
I think the Titans have a good offensive line.
They allowed 56 sacks this year.
Run blocking offensive line.
Well, I mean, Tom Brady is a quarterback.
Sure.
I mean, the offensive line that can pass block would probably be important. But to me, the issues that the Patriots have had with their skill position players, I don't think it was something that they could fix in real time during the course of the season. I know they went out and made the Sanu trade, which doesn't look like a great deal. We'll see what happens and where they are with that relationship in 2020. But A.J. Green's going to be a free agent. Maybe that's a potential weapon. Melvin Gordon's going to be a free agent. Maybe that's a weapon they would consider. I just feel like with Bill Belichick, he would be able to recognize what the team needs, what the deficiencies are, and then put those pieces around Tom if Tom decided to come back.
But what, to me, the most interesting part about the Patriots is so much of the discussion about if he comes back, it's they get Brady back at a bigger salary than he had this year, and they add all these other things. You know what I mean? Like you're talking about that, and it's not a criticism. That's not the discussion with the Chargers. You can say they need to upgrade the offensive line.
Which is a big part of it.
It's a big part of it.
Yes.
But those weapons are there. With the Titans, you have arguably the best running back in football. You've got, I think, a #1 receiver.
Who's a free agent.
Yeah, but they have the franchise tag for Derrick Henry if they want, especially if they're going to. For Brady, they'd let Tannehill walk. But the last thing for me with Brady on this is I also think that ego will play a part of this. And I think it's not just the ego of, can I do it somewhere else, but the ego of, guys, I asked for this not to be a question 9 months ago. You have put us in this situation. If someone, and I hate to continue to use relationship analogies, but if your significant other says, let's take a break. No, let's not. No, let's not. No, we really need to take a break. And you wanted to stay. But on the break, you're like, oh, I'm a pretty damn eligible bachelor here. Then even if she comes back and says, all right, I'm ready to get back together, you might say, oh, well, it turns out grass might be greener. And so there is that element of it where he would be rightfully angry that this has even come up and will seriously entertain those other potentially more attractive options.
I very much like when you go in the
relationship advice.
Relationship advice.
Yeah.
I know who
Love
to turn
line
to.
with Nick Wright.
Coming up, should the Patriots regret
I've been
trading
single
Jimmy
since I was
G?
22. I have
That's
no
the end
idea.
of First Things
I
First.
have no idea.
Oh, I know.
I haven't been on a date.